Hey everyone, welcome back to Fisher Hacks. Today I got in the starting equipment for my Zeovit system. So we got the Zeovit Media, we got the Zeobac, basically the bacteria, the Zeofood, which is the coral and bacteria food, and the Zeostart, which is actually another food source and also helps reduce phosphates and nitrates. So if you don't already know, the Zeovite, the media itself, the stones actually remove ammonia before it has a chance to break down into the system, and then the bacteria eats, the phosphates and the nitrates, and the Zeofood helps give coral food and the bacteria food, and like I said, the Zeostart helps remove phosphates and nitrates along with feeding the bacteria. So we're going to go ahead and put in the recommended dose into the reactor of the Zeovite, and we'll come back. But before we do that, let's go into what the recommended dose is. It's actually 1 liter per 100 gallons. So since this is approximately a 30-gallon tank, it's going to be 300 milliliters will go into the system. So let me go ahead and get that into the reactor, and then we'll come right back. Hey everyone, we're back here. We have just added 300 milliliters to the reactor. Now it comes out to approximately 1.3 cups of media. And like I said, since it's about a 30-gallon tank, we're going to do 100 milliliters per 10 gallons. Alright, so there we go. That's in the reactor, ready to go. So let's move on to Zeobac, which is the bacteria solution. Now, note that it lasts up to about 3 months in the refrigerator after you open it, so they recommend that you buy it in smaller portions. So I got here, what is this, the 10 milliliter version? So we'll see how long that lasts. And note, yes, yet again, to refrigerator after opening. Don't freeze it, just refrigerate it. Now, there's a couple phases to starting up the Zeovit system here. As it being a new system with just dry rock and a minimal bio load, I only have 2 fish in there right now. They recommend that you do kind of a starter dose, and then once the break-in period, if you want to call it that, then you go back to dosing as normal. So for during the start of the Zeovit system, they recommend 2 to 4 drops per 25 gallons of water daily over a period of 2 weeks. Okay, so we'll do 2 drops a day for 2 weeks straight. Now we're going to say it's approximately 25 to 30 gallons the system, and instead of overdosing, we're just going to do the minimum. Alright, so subsequently after that, you're going to do 1 to 2 drops per 25 gallons of water volume once or twice a week until the change of Zeovite. So they recommend, as you start the system up, to change the Zeovite, the media, okay, every 4 weeks for the first 2 times. And then after that, you can go to 6 to 12 weeks, depending on your bio load, to change the media out. So we're going to go ahead and add 2 drops to the system, and then we're going to do that for 2 weeks, okay? Now, we'll come back to this in 2 weeks, and then we'll continue our dosing from there, but just to say now, so after the first Zeovite change, so after you change the media once, that'll be in 4 weeks, you want to do every other day 1 drop per 25 gallons of water over a period of 2 weeks, and then subsequently dose 1 drop per 25 gallons of net water volume 2 to 3 times weekly. So after we come back in 2 weeks, we're going to start dosing our new regimen, and then up until the 4-week period, okay? Now, to make this, it sounds complicated, but after you look at it and step back and see, it's not that bad. So after you do the Zeovite change, okay, we're going to go ahead and do that, what I just stated before, the 1 drop per 25 gallons. Alright. Now, once the system is established, basically they call it the amount to be used in tanks that are nutrient poor or running stable with Zeovit system. So once the system is stocked, you're going to have to change your dosing from there, okay? And they recommend 1 drop per 25 gallons of net water volume every 3 days over a period of 2 weeks, every time Zeovit is changed. So every 6 to 12 weeks you're going to change the Zeovit, you're going to have to start a new drop regimen, okay? So once you're going to do that for 2 weeks, and then, or otherwise, dose 1 drop per 25 gallons of net water volume once or twice weekly. Now, I hope that makes some kind of sense. I will put a link to the actual document, the actual PDF, on the description, so you can go back and look at it yourself. It seems a little complicated, but it's actually not too bad once you step back and look at it. Alright, so I'm going to dose the system real quick, and then we're going to come back and move on to Zeofood. Alright. Hey guys, welcome back. So we just dosed, we did our 2 drops of the Zeobac bacteria. Okay, so now we're going to move on to Zeofood. Now I'm not going to go in and go into the description of what to do after the 2 weeks or after the first Zeovit change. We're actually just going to do that when the time comes, so we don't make it too complicated off the bat. So, zeofood. Okay, during the start of the Zeovit system, you want to do 2 to 4 drops per 25 gallons of net water volume daily over a period of 2 weeks. Subsequently, dose 1 to 2 drops per 25 gallons of net water volume once or twice weekly until Zeovit change. Okay, so the same thing. We're just going to dose the two drops. Okay, since it's considered a 25 gallon tank, so we're going to do 2 drops, and we're going to do that every day for 2 weeks. And then in 2 weeks, we'll come back. Okay, and then we'll start the new regimen up until the Zeovit change, and then we'll continue on from there. Okay, so let me dose the system. We're going to do 2 drops real quick. Might as well just do it while you're here. So turn the camera off. So with this here, we do 2 drops. I do it right into the return section. I don't think it makes a difference. So it's got a little ball on the end there. Okay, we do 2 drops. 1, 2. All right, so that's it. That's the Zeofood. Okay. So camera is all kinds of jacked up right now. All right. So let's move on to Zeostart. Okay. Zeostart, the recommended dose for a new system is dose 5 milliliters per 25 gallons of net water volume daily for 2 to 3 days. We're going to do it for 3 days. Okay, so it's going to be 5 milliliters every day for the next 3 days. And subsequently dose 1 milliliter per 25 gallons of net water volume over a period of 2 weeks. So for the next 3 days, I'm going to do 5 milliliters of this, and then when we come back in 2 weeks, we're gonna check out the new dosing regimen. So first 3 days, we're gonna do 5 milliliters, and then from 3 days on, our 4th day on for 2 weeks, we're gonna do 1 milliliter a day. Again, since it's 25 gallon tank. All right, let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Get me a syringe, 5 milliliters. 5 milliliters. All right. Kind of cold. All right. All right. So we got 5 milliliters. All right. We're going to dose that to the system. All right. Just kind of doing the overflow. Alright, and that's it. So there's 5 milliliters. And like I said, we'll come back tomorrow, 5 more milliliters, the day after 5 more milliliters, and we'll continue dosing 2 drops a day for the next 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks we'll come back and we will start a new dosing regimen. Now note that the media will need to be pumped every day, once or twice a day. Now that's in the reactor here. Just want to clarify that. The reactor will need to be pumped once or twice a day, a minimum of 1 time a day, to release the film, bacteria film, which in turn feeds the coral and the tank itself. Okay. Now, they recommend that you put the Zeostart on a dosing pump, but the problem is my tank's not big enough to have a sub 1 milliliter dosed, because that's what's going to happen. It's basically, in the end, for the Zeostart, they want you to dose 1 to 2 milliliters per 250 gallons of net water volume daily. Okay, so obviously, you know, I don't have that big of a system to really, you know, do that. So what I'm going to do is we'll take the 250 milliliters and we'll divide it. Okay, and then we'll end up coming up with essentially a dose that I can do in a let me see, I'm going to pull it out here, a 1 milliliter syringe. Okay, I got a whole bunch of these on eBay. And then, so we'll just figure out what that has to be daily, and until I get a bigger system, we're just going to have to dose it that way. So, some quick tips here, guys, is take your time, read the directions, okay? And every system's going to be different. With this one here, I have 2 clownfish, somewhere, they're Clarkies, and I have about, I would say about 20 pounds of rock, maybe. Now, I recommend you guys just take your time, okay? We're going to do this together because I haven't seen any videos out there of anybody actually going through it on a weekly process, on a weekly basis. So we're just going to do this together, we're going to learn together, and we're going to mess up together, but that's cool. That's what we do, and that's how we learn anyways. So I'm going to turn the skimmer back on, and by the way, I've got to get a smaller skimmer. This thing's obnoxious, and it's like 200 gallons worth. It's just ridiculous. As you guys can see, the DIY reactor is pretty decent. And again, I don't think I mentioned this. I'm kind of jumping around here. Sorry about that. But I dialed it down. You want it to be between 50 and 100 gallons per hour coming through this reactor. So that looks about 50. I mean, I'm guessing. I would hope so. Because full open, I mean, the pump that I have on there is a MaxiJet 400, which is like 106 gallons per hour. So I just dialed it down just a little bit to make sure that it came out to approximately, or at least above 50. So, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. We're going to have to come back here in a second, guys. I got the carbon here for the Zeovit system as well. And, you know something? I guess we're going to have to come back and do that. Or we can just tough it out now. Carbon, yes. I can't believe I forgot about it. Let's see how much time I got on my camera. My camera only allows me to do like 8 minutes at a time. They recommend 0.5 to 1 liter of activated carbon per 25 gallons of net water volume. So we're going to have to do some math, and we're going to put that amount in there. I think it came out to like 60 grams or something like that. I'm going to double check it, and then I'll notate that later. And basically, they recommend they use their carbon. I used to use the ROX. I use the ROX in my main system from bulk resupply, but they say it's too strong and it can remove the chemical compounds, and we don't want to do that. So I sucked it up. I think I'm going to get like 7 or 8 water changes out of this. So 7 or 8 months worth for like, I think it was like $22 or something like that. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in the system, and I'll check back here, guys, in a little while. I'm going to have an updated video at least within 2 weeks, because we're going to start that new regimen, and we'll see how this goes. I get my new light in a couple days, and I got some stuff for the Apex coming, because we're going to run this as a second tank off the Apex. So we're going to do that too, and we'll see how this thing goes. But I appreciate you guys watching, and stay tuned. Later.